In this series of videos about profit leakages in EPC businesses, I am going to cover the profit leakage due to rework, which is the first out of 6 main revenue leakage areas. If you haven't seen my earlier video in which I have talked about 6 areas of profit leakages, please go through it. I am going to elaborate further on the first area of rework. I'm sure you would have noticed rework happening at multiple places in various functions. Let me start with few examples of rework. The design engineer makes a drawing and then has to create revision 1, revision 2, ... Civil foundation is not as per drawing and needs to be recasted. You receive ordered material and realize that it's not what you expected. Your painted frame gets damaged during handling and you need to touch it up again. You developed a logic for automation and client changes the requirement. Material shipped at site is short and you need to make part shipment again. I'm sure you can relate to all of these examples of rework. Now let's look at what causes rework. First, ambiguity and assumptions. There is ambiguity about scope of work, quantities, mix and specs, verbal commitments, etc. Or both the parties involved have assumed these things because they did not find it necessary to discuss and document it. For example, design engineer considered BSP threads in their design because they have been using the same in all of their equipment, whereas the client used NPT standards everywhere in their factory. And they wanted NPT, not BSP. If this is not documented and both parties assumed, then surely there will be rework. Solution to such problems is to document as much as possible, and secondly, conduct kick-off meetings to get more clarity. These ambiguities and assumptions are not just between you and your clients. We can notice such gaps within the departments of the same company, or between us and our vendors, or between us, consultants and clients. Second is errors, simple human errors. So extending the same example of BSP and NPT standards, if client has specified NPT in the document, but the design engineer still considered BSP by error. If this goes unnoticed, then it could create rework in the next steps, that is ordering, production, installation and handing over, depending on when this discrepancy gets noticed. The solution to such issues is to conduct peer work review or validation by third-party inspection or stage inspection or checklists or use of software which can avoid human errors. Again, such errors can happen in any of the departments, not just design. Methodical approach to address this issue is to identify nature of frequently occurring errors, brainstorm on the reasons and the solutions, and introduce a checkpoint to capture the errors sooner. Also verify the people working on the given tasks have the adequate knowledge and the skills to perform these tasks. Unskilled people make more errors. Third area is change requests. Rework happens due to change requests if client changes their requirement after we have already progressed with our design, production or other phases of execution. There are two approaches to avoid revenue leakages due to change request. First approach is to ask as many questions as possible during order finalization and project kickoff stage so that we have covered all the possibilities. And the second approach is to have a clause in our contract to get compensated for the extra work or the rework caused due to such change request. Remember, protecting our bottom line is our responsibility, not clients. Fourth one is variety of offerings. If we deal in multiple technology, product lines, models, customizations, that is, in short, we have a huge variety in our offerings. We often deal in FOAK, that is first of a kind products, or If we involve ourselves very often in trying new things, then we might face a lot of rework challenge. I heard this phrase from one of the various senior coaches: boring is profitable. That is, if you do something repetitively day in, day out, 24/7, it gets boring, but you make no mistakes. You achieve mastery and hence it's profitable. In other words, standardization exercise to minimize customization and consolidate our offerings is one way of reducing rework and errors and increase accuracy and repeatability. Now let me summarize. Profit leakage due to rework can be minimized using following approaches: better transfer of information through documents, kickoff meetings, and review meetings; minimize human errors by using softwares, checklist, peer work review, stage inspection, and adequately skilled manpower; minimize rework due to change request by better need analysis during sales and by introducing rework clause in the contract; lastly, standardization and consolidation of our offerings to reduce nuances. Let me know in comments which reason out of this is the most expensive as far as the cost of rework goes. Thank you.